Hey everyone, it is January the 6th on Read Through the Word, and I am so happy to be here with you and to be walking through the pages of God's Word today. And through our reading today, there's so much. There's so much. But I chose to pop in on the conversation and the intercession of Abraham for Lot. Remember, Lot came with him when he left Ur of the Chaldeans, and he and Lot split ways, and Lot has gotten himself into one little debacle already, and he is now in another one. And so we're looking at the uncle interceding on behalf of the nephew. And as I glanced down, as I often do, I looked and I said, wow, let me look up what intercede means. So, dictionary.com, I don't know if you can even see that, but it's probably the screen's too wide, but intercede, dictionary.com, one of my favorite sites. To act or interpose in behalf of someone in difficulty or trouble, as by pleading or petition. So someone's in trouble and we beg, plead, whatever we have to do to get help for this person or to intervene for this person. And in this case, the help is going directly to God and asking. And I love how here Abraham doesn't say, hey God, my nephew is in some trouble over there in Sodom. He's gotten wrapped up in some things that he shouldn't have, and could you go help him? He didn't ask that. He never asked that. He asked about righteous people. So not only was he praying on behalf of his nephew, but he was praying on behalf of any righteous person there in Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's hard to believe, given what all happened, that there are any righteous people there, But he was praying on behalf and pleading on behalf of, and this really isn't a prayer, he's having a conversation, I should say, on behalf of righteous people. And God knew what he was talking about. Ultimately, it was for his nephew and his nephew's family. I read this about Oswald Chambers. He is the author or the writer of the content in My Utmost for His Highest. If you are looking for a weighty devotion book that's short, sweet, to the point, I suggest you pick that up. I call him OC because I've been reading him for so long. I feel like I can call him by his nickname. But he said this about prayer. Prayer does not equip us for greater works. Prayer is the greater work. Yet we think of prayer as some common sense exercise of our higher powers that simply prepares us for God's work. In the teachings of Jesus Christ, prayer is the working of the miracle of redemption in me, which produces the miracle of redemption in others through the power of God. So, prayer is work. It's not just some common sense exercise that we do. And we see this, we see Abraham just begging. He approaches God, he presses in, he pleads, he speaks one more time. He dares to speak one more time. He continues. I just put some of those words down, but he is persistent. He is He is persevering in this conversation with God until he feels like God really gets it. Now, over in Ezekiel 16, we know that Sodom and Gomorrah is just, it's a poor and needy place. It is full of detestable things. And no doubt had a reputation in the area. And so for sure, Abraham knew what was going on. So perseverance means to have steady persistence in a course of action with a purpose. So in spite of difficulties, obstacles, discouragement, despite the fact that we don't feel like God is moving, because we can't base our prayers on what we feel. Oh my goodness, because our feelings lie to us all the time. And I think it's in 1 John, John says that God is greater than our feelings. So we can't rely on our feelings. We have to be, regardless of what we're feeling, we have to continue to pray and seek the Lord and petition the Lord and intercede on behalf of those in our family, in our lives, our community, our country, our leaders. We have to intercede for them with persistence. And I don't often share my something old, something new. I don't often I don't read it. But this floored me. For the first time, I did not notice this, that Abraham got up. This is Genesis 19. That Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he stood in the Lord's presence. He looked across the plain and toward Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the city like smoke from a furnace. He saw smoke, but he didn't see Lot. And we don't even see an interaction between Abraham and Lot anymore. So I was like, wow. He prayed believing that God was going to take care of it. And he did. He took care of it. All he saw was smoke, and he didn't see Lot. So I wonder, can we just keep praying? Even if we don't see right away an answer, or even if we don't ever see the answer on this side of heaven, let's just keep persistent. Let's keep praying. Prayer is the work. It is the work. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow and read through the Word.